I am excited to film this video. Okay. Do I have all my... No, where's my other palette? Where is the other palette? There we go. Okay. I've got all the palettes. Let's go. Hi guys, James here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited because I'm finally back to playing with makeup. I've had about a week and a half off, maybe 2 weeks, and I'm back. I'm so excited. We are playing with the new Glaminatrix. This should be the Tones of Turds palette, but this is the Grounded palette, which is basically still the poo themed palette, but the PG version, because I missed the pre-launch of the Tones of Turds palette, which is the little poo themed palette. They did do an Instagram post earlier in this year for April Fools, and it was a turd themed Colourstay palette, or a poo themed Colourstay palette. You know what I mean. Anyway, they got an overwhelming amount of people saying they need this in a palette form. Like, this needs to be an actual palette. So they actually did create a palette. Now, this is the palette, but my version's called Grounded. It came yesterday, but because I had people working on my house, I had some people doing some renovations in my house, I couldn't play with it yesterday. They were here this morning, but they were only here for 2 hours. This is what it looks like. Actually, the unicarton is beautiful. You can't really see, like, you can see the design, but it's a bit hard. Now, I want to talk about the actual theme of this palette, but I'll talk about it later on when I've shown you what this palette looks like and when I'm actually doing the tutorial. It does come with a little bit of like a little sleeve. Now on the sleeve it does actually have all the information, but I don't see anyone keeping this, so it's going to go in the bin, but it does have all the information on the back. This is a cruelty-free and vegan-free palette made in the PRC, which is People's Republic of China, if I'm not mistaken, and it does have a 24-month expiry date on it. Now, this is the palette in all its glory. Look how pretty this is. I love the actual unicarton. Glaminatrix, they do really good packaging, but let's not waste time. Let's actually open the palette. So, this is what it looks like. Now, this palette does retail for $95 Australian. It has 20 shades in it. The middle row is all shimmers. They do come with a little foam insert just to protect the shimmers because they are very softly pressed. I'm going to let them all fall out. 2 more there. Come. Okay, well, that's not... How do I get that out? Some tweezers, probably. So, this is the first palette where I've actually seen them putting these in. And I think it's great because I've watched a few people review this palette and they do say that the shimmers are very softly pressed. So I'm glad that they've actually taken that extra step as a brand to protect their shimmers. This is what the palette looks like. It is so pretty. I'm going to wait until the light adjusts so you can really see how pretty the shimmers are. Because I think the shimmers are, I mean, look how pretty they are. They are stunning. This is what the actual palette looks like in person. But when the lights are not adjusted, it kind of washes all the beautiful shades and the shimmers out. Oh, yeah, this is not part of the phone. This is just a white matte shade. For a second, I thought it was the little insert, but it's the actual shade. It's a white shade, and the shade is called Still. Now, I don't actually think this palette has the poo shade names in it. I'm pretty sure the other palette, the Tones of Turds palette, actually has the poo-related shade names, but this palette doesn't, which is kind of upsetting. Now, I want to talk about this palette, the theme-wise, but I'll do that in the video. I'm going to try and do 2 eyeshadow looks. I've already done my base and everything like that to save some time. We are going to start with the shade Steady, which is this like mossy green, almost lime shade, and then we're going to go in the yellow shade. They do look very similar under the lights, but if the camera actually adjusts, there you go, you can actually see the difference. I'm not going to touch any of these shimmers until I play with them. I will do swatches of them at the end of the video, but I want to get into the palette. So let's go in with the shade Steady. I'm going to do like a greeny yellowy eye, and then we're going to do like a neutral eye as well. And I'm going to try and utilize as many shades as I can in this tutorial and as many shimmers as possible as well. Now, there is a little bit of fallout in this shade, and that shade is actually Steady, before I forget to actually mention what shade I'm going into. Look how pigmented it is. So, so pretty. Now, I hope everyone's having a great day wherever you are watching this from. Great day or night, I should say, because some people do watch from different time zones. I do have a day off today. Now, it's a bit weird having people in my house. I get major anxiety when there are tradies or anyone working in my house, and I don't know why. It's not that I don't know them, I just don't know what to do when people are working in the house. Like, my house is not very big, so I kind of just sit in my room and just wait until they're finished because I just don't know I don't want to be in their way, and I don't want it to be like I'm just watching them work. So I kind of sit in my room and go on the iPad or scroll on my phone. But yesterday I thought, you know what, it will be great to actually undo my dryer, get all the lint trays and stuff out, and actually clean the inside of my dryer out, because I didn't know what else to do. So for 2 hours I was cleaning my dryer with a Q-tip because I couldn't reach all the cracks and stuff inside the lint tray, because the lint's all like on the side and stuff and in the corners. So I got a Q-tip and was standing there for about 2 hours cleaning my dryer with a Q-tip, because I just didn't know what else to do while they were still working on the upstairs bedrooms and the hallway. So that's what I did for day one. And then today, like I mentioned, I just sat down and cleaned all my brushes, so they are currently drying. And I do have probably another 100 to clean, but I'll do that another day, maybe tomorrow when they're here. But that is what's been happening with me. I've also been working all week, so I didn't get a chance to play with any makeup. I don't usually play with makeup on days that I'm working, just because if I have any stainings with the colours that I play with, because most of the colours I play with are colourful eyeshadow palettes, I don't want any staining on my eyelid, just because I just can't go to work with staining like blues and pinks and purples on my eyelids. So I never play with makeup when I'm going to work. So for the next 5 days I probably won't film anything, and if I do, it's probably going to be like a new makeup release video rather than an actual makeup video. So I hope you enjoy those types of videos. This shade is blending out really nicely. I'm just really trying to build up that colour and then blend as I go. I'm really loving how buildable and pigmented this shade is. So very good start for this palette. Alright, that shade is all blended out. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. So now we're going to go into the shade Anchored? I don't know. It's this yellowy shade here that I showed you before. We're going to use the same brush and we're going to put that in the inner corner. Oh, that is very yellow, like almost orange, almost like a turmeric orange yellow. That's yeah, that's very pigmented. I'm going to tap that off and I'm going to put that in the inner corner. Oh, that is really pretty. I'm not a huge fan of yellows. I just find that yellows are not that easy to work with, and they don't really sit on my eye very well. Like, longevity wise, I always find yellows kind of just fade away very quickly. So I'm not a huge fan of yellowy shades. I've never found a yellow that I've truly fell in love with that lasts all day or lasts more than a couple hours without like fading away to nothing. So I'm hoping this yellow like stays. I will let you know when I'm editing this video on the screen now if it does actually last for a good amount of time, because when I film this I will just wear this around the house just to see how the shimmers last and all that type of stuff, and then I will let you know at the end of this month, because I'm going to do a series where every month I'm going to talk about all the makeup products that I've used during that month and give you kind of a speed review of how I found each of those products. Now some months will have a lot of makeup and some months won't, so keep an eye out for those videos. Now I just want to quickly mention before, because I'll probably get a comment or two, what I'm actually getting done with the upstairs bedrooms and stuff. I've had a leak in the shower where there must be like a crack in the grout, or the grout's just old, or the sealant's old. The leak has caused the paint on the wall behind in the bedroom to start bubbling and peeling because it's like making the wall wet. So I'm getting that fixed. I'm getting the shower all resealed and stuff like that. And then I'm also getting the skirting board that runs along the bottom of the bedroom like wall and the hallway replaced, because the water has actually expanded the what do you call that, the baseboard, and it's coming away from the wall, so we're getting that replaced. Also, I'm getting a new door installed because the door has expanded as well, and I don't know if that's because of the water or if that's just because of the heat. It gets really hot upstairs, it's expanded it, so I can't actually shut the door properly, and it's actually cracked the door. So I'm getting that replaced, and hopefully the door will fit properly. It's getting fitted and everything like that, so it won't happen again. So I'm just getting some of that work done, and then also we'll be doing some stuff in the kitchen as well. So that is what's happening with my house. All right, that shade, what shade is it? Anchored or whatever it is. That's very nice. I'm actually really happy with that. I do want to go in with a darker shade. I'm going to go into the shade Patient, and it is a forest green matte. This one here. that one there. And we're going to put that on the outer edge and into the crease a little bit because I want a little bit of dimension before I go in with the shimmer. So we're just going to quickly do that before I go into the shimmers, just because once the shimmers are on, it's very hard to blend around with a matte and not knock any of the shimmer formula onto your base. So we're going to quickly just blend a little bit onto the lash line, into the crease, and onto the outer edge of this eyeshadow. Wow, that is so easy to blend. Love this shade. I love a good forest green, and green is one of my favorite shadows to play with. I love a good mustard and spear green moment. So when I saw this palette, I knew I had to add it to my collection. So I'm very, very happy I did. I kind of wish I got the Tones of Turds palette, like with the shade names and everything. Now I love that Glaminatrix actually listens to their customers and all the comments on their page about this palette when it first launched, or when it first got announced as an April Fool's joke. Everyone was like, I need this palette. And I love that this brand actually managed to turn it into reality, because I think it's such a cool palette. And I also think this is the best launch they've ever had from an eyeshadow palette. They've had a initial pre-launch of the Tones of Turds palette. They've had a second launch, and that's all sold out. They've had the Grounded pre-launch, the first one, that sold out, and the second one is basically all sold out. So they've had the best launch ever of any eyeshadow palettes in their collection with this palette, which I think is great for an Australian brand. They also just hit 80,000 Instagram followers. So for an Australian brand, they are killing it. I'm so happy for them. I just kind of wish for them as a brand, they only did the Tones of Turds palette. I don't think they needed the Grounded palette. Like, I don't think they needed a PG version of this palette, because they had such a good response with the Tones of Turds, like, themed palette, with the names and everything. I just feel like they probably created more work for them to bring out like the Grounded version of the same palette, same color story, same shimmers. I just feel like they might have created more work for themselves when they really didn't need it, because the people who wanted this palette wanted it for the Tones of Turds palette. They wanted the theme, they wanted the shade names, they wanted to have fun with their makeup. So I just feel like they didn't need to do that. Great for the brand because it all worked out for them, but they probably didn't need all that extra work with the shade names, because they had to pay for the unicarton with the different shade names. They had to pay for the packaging on the front with the different name on it, the Grounded name. They could have just done Tones of Turds and not had to get two different unicartons, a whole lot of different shade names, and a lot of like different promo shots for both palettes when it's the same color story. So I just feel like they might have done a lot more work when they didn't need to, just because they had such a good response with the initial Tones of Turds palette. They didn't need to bring this one out. Not that I'm complaining, because I'm so glad I've got this palette, because it is a small indie brand, and it would have been a lot of work to get all the promo shots for both of these palettes, all the different shade names, the unicartons all approved and everything like that, especially when this palette and I think all the shades are made in China. It would have been a lot more work, but congratulations to the brand for having everything sold out and also hitting 80,000 followers on Instagram. I think that's such an incredible feat in today's makeup industry, where there's a new brands launching every day, new palettes coming out every day. I think it's an amazing achievement. Alright guys, we are back, and I've blended out that shade Patient. I also went and did the bottom lash line off camera just because it's the same matte shades, and I really love the way it's looking. So now we're going to go in with the shimmers, which is the fun part. Now I have 5 shimmers to choose from. I've got this beautiful, almost like yellowy blue marble shade, and that shade is Secure. And then we've got the 2 shades in the middle, Balance and Solid. So we've got Balance, which is this one here, and then Solid. Now they are bright green and yellow. This one here almost looks like a I don't know, holographic like lime green, which is stunning. Now I'm not going to put any glitter glue down today because I just want to see how it wears without one. But you can always put a nice glitter glue down, because it is a foiled shimmer. So sometimes if you're hooded like me, you can get fallout under your eye. But for me, I just want to play with this without a glitter glue, so I can see what it wears like without a glitter glue. And later on, I can play with a glitter glue if I need one. But for now, I'm just going to go in. Oh, I don't know. I've got so many different choices. I want to use 2 shimmers, but these 2 look too similar, so I'm going to go in with this one here on the outer edge, which has all the like beautiful gold and blue shimmer, oh my god, shimmer reflex in it. So pretty. It's all mixed into one, so we're just going to put that on the outer edge right here, and then we'll go in with one of those lighter green shimmers in the inner corner. But look how pretty that is. That is stunning. Now I always apply my shimmers with my finger. Sometimes I use the brush in the inner corner because my finger's too fat to get right in the inner corner. But I just find to apply a foiled shimmer like this on my eyelid, finger always works best. So that's what it looks like on the eye. Stunning, absolutely stunning. I will blend out the edges with the matte shade in a second, but we're going to just apply this all the way into the middle of the eyelid. And when I do this, I'm packing it down onto the eyelid so there's no fallout, or at least very little fallout if there's going to be any. I will zoom in and show what it looks like closer up, but I just want to go in with the lighter shade. And I think I'll go in with this shade Balance, which is really pretty. It does have a little bit of a bubble in the center. And I think that's just because some of the shimmer is actually lifting. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it has a little bit of a bubble lifting there. So let me press that down with my finger and then pick up some of that shadow and apply in the inner part of my eyelid. Oh my goodness, look how pretty that is. Glaminatrix shimmers are where it's at. Their shimmer formula is amazing. Look how pretty that is. That is so pretty. I love this palette already. The shimmers are phenomenal. Now, I know Glaminatrix do single shadows. I don't know if they'll bring out these shimmers in a single form, but if they do, I probably will pick them up as well because I just want to have these shimmers in my collection forever. Glaminatrix don't always keep their palettes around on their website. Sometimes they are just very limited edition. So once this is sold out, they might not bring it out again. And I don't want to not have this palette ever in my collection. So hopefully they have this one as a permanent staple in their collection because I think this is beautiful. It has all the neutral shades that you would need for an everyday look, but then it has the pops of colors which are, as you can see, stunning. Absolutely stunning. Alright guys, we are back and I put that shimmer in the inner corner. Now I went a little bit in to the inner corner, a bit too far. I kind of didn't want it to go right in the inner corner because I wanted to put something else in the inner corner as a inner corner highlighter. But the actual shimmer shades that I used are stunning. They are so pretty. I love it. I'm looking in the viewfinder and the colors are absolutely beautiful. I'm going to leave the eye for now here and we're going to go onto the other eye. So let me zoom back out for you. Now I do want to mention I do have a little bit of fallout with the shimmer on my cheeks, but nothing too crazy. But now let's do the other eye and we're going to go in with a neutral eye shadow moment. So we're going to go into this shade here, which is the shade Clarity. We're just going to sweep that all across the eyelid just as a transition shade. Normally I go in with a lighter transition shade all across the eyelid or the inner corner, and then I smoke it out with a darker shade. So we'll probably do that, but this shade is the lightest shade in this palette besides the bright white shade. So we're going to put that all across the eyelid because it's going to be like my inner corner light shade. This is just going to be a quick neutral tutorial just so you can see what you can do with this palette for an everyday look, but we will do some of those shimmers because I can't not use those shimmers. I do like just using matte shadows sometimes for an eye look, but with these shimmers in this palette, you can't not play with them for first impressions tutorial. So we are going to play with the shimmers as well. But so far this shadow is blending out really nicely. That shadow is all blended out. Love the way that blended out. And now we're going to go into the darker shade. So English is my second language, and I just find with my dyslexia, self-diagnosed, but I actually have it, very hard to say. So I'm just going to continue. It's this shade here, this one here. It's a nice chocolate, almost cool tone brown. We're just going to pick that up and put it in the outer corner of the eye, and we're just going to blend it into the eyelid and into the crease and on the outer edge as well. Wow, look how pigmented and look how easy that was to blend. That was so quick. This is really pretty. I'm loving this. Very nice and very easy to blend. That took no time at all. I'm just going to quickly blend this a little bit more into the crease because I think these are the only two mattes I'm going to play with on this eye, just because I want this eye to be very quick and easy. So I'm just going to only use these two matte shadows on this eye. So I'll just go off camera and do the bottom lash lines with the two shadows that I've already used on my eyelid, and then we can come back and play with the shimmers, which is the fun part. Alright, lovely people, we are back and matte shadows are all done. Let's get in with the shimmers. The shimmers are stunning. We have two shimmers that I'm considering. We've got this one here, which is almost like a maroon shadow, and that shade is Calm. And then we've got the shade Whole, which is more of a neutral shadow. This one here, which is really pretty. So let me swatch both of those. We've got Calm. Oh my god, these are so soft and buttery. Oh, look at that. That has like a duochrome. Oh, that's stunning. That is, oh, yeah, that's pretty. Look at that. Look at the shift in that. Beautiful. And then let me swatch the other shade, Whole. Okay, this is, oh, this is very soft, very different formula. This is more of a foiled shimmer, so it has a little bit more of a fallout. But look at that. Makes the back of my hand look like glass. Look at that. Stunning. I just want to show you. I went very softly into that pan Whole, but look what it's done. Very, very soft. But it's got a little bit of like a kick up compared to that shadow here that has none of that. So different formula. Just be careful when you dip in with your finger or brush. But again, very, very pretty. I don't know if they'll look good together on the eye. I kind of... You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to go into the shade Calm and put that on the outer edge on right here. And then we're going to put the lighter shade Whole in the inner corner. So I'm just going to apply that with our finger. Very, very pretty. And I'm going very, very carefully because this is quite a dark shadow and I don't want it to go everywhere. So I'm just picking up a little at a time. But in person I can already see that shift. So that's really nice. Hopefully it will translate on camera when I zoom in and show you what it looks like. But so far, so good. Oh, love that. Okay, now we're going to go into the shade Whole and I'm going very, very lightly. It is a very foiled shimmer, so I'm only picking up a little bit because I don't want any fallout on my face. But wow. God, that is a beautiful shimmer. Again, Glaminatrix shimmers are out of this world. Really, really pretty. Probably not the best to combine both of those shadows. I'm going to try and make it work and blend those two shadows together. And I only did both of those shadows because I want to use as many shadows as I can in this video so you can see what they all look like on the eye. I can make it work, but I probably wouldn't do that again. These two are very good to combine, but these two, because they're a different formula from each other, they are wearing differently on the eyelid. And again, I'll zoom in so hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. But in person, they are very different formula and you can tell that when it's on the eye. But still very, very pretty shimmers. So let me quickly put that in the inner corner and then I'll zoom in. Alright, I put all that shadow in the inner corner. Let me zoom in so you can see what it looks like. So I don't know if you can see the shift of the one on the outer corner because that one does have the shift. The other one in the inner corner doesn't really have a shift. Very blinding still, very pretty. But hopefully you can actually see the two textures on my eyelid. This one is more of a foiled, so it's kind of picking up a bit more. And this one more, not a satin, but it's sitting on the eyelid a bit better. And especially for people with creased eyelids, these are the type of formulas that sit better on your eyelid. More foiled shimmers like the one in the inner corner probably best work with a glitter glue. So I will probably in the future wear glitter glue, but I'm still really loving the way it looks. I think it's so pretty. I'm looking in the viewfinder because I want to show you both of those shimmers on both eyes, what they look like. Hopefully you can see the different textures, the shifts they have. Very, very pretty. I think the shimmers out of this palette are stunning. Hands down worth the money in my opinion. And the mattes, as you can see, blend out really nicely as well. So I'm really, really happy with the way this looks. Now I think I'm going to go off camera and just put something in the waterline and put some lashes on because I feel like this look needs some lashes. We'll put a lipstick on and then I'll come back and show you what the final result looks like. But I'm really, really happy with this palette. So let me quickly do that and I'll come back. Alright queens, we are back and this is the final look. Let me tell you, these lashes from Essence, whatever these ones here, oh, I should put the little cardboard on so you can actually see what I'm showing you. This is what, they were like $5 from Priceline in the shade, or in the style reusable. Oh, no, that's dramatic volume. No, that's ultra thin. Okay, they don't actually have a style, but let me tell you, they were a bitch to get on, and they're jumping off. Okay, so that's great. I don't think they'll even last for the photos. Okay, yep. Well, I'm not buying lashes from Essence in the future because the lash band is just terrible. Not big enough to get the actual glue that needs to stick them on to your actual eyelid. Like the lash band is too thin. Anyway, this is the final look. I'm actually really, really happy with it. I do want to... I just dropped all my brushes. Great. I do want to go in with this white shade here. And I'm actually going to put that on my brow bone as a brow bone highlighter. Ooh, I put a lot on the brush. We're just going to tap... oh, that was a lot of powder. We're going to just put a little bit on the brow bone as a highlighter. Because I didn't put a shimmer on my brow bone because I knew I wanted to try it as a brow highlighter. And also an inner corner highlight. Oh, that's very white. That is very white. Okay, we're just going to try and blend that out a little bit. Very pigmented white. I don't really use whites very often, like the white matte shades. I use them as an inner corner highlighter, but very, very rarely do I actually use it on my eyelid as an eyeshadow moment. I usually only put it on as a brow highlighter or inner corner highlighter. So we're just going to do that today, just so I can use an extra shadow for this little tutorial and tell you how I feel about it. How I feel about it, it's very white. Like, probably used the wrong brush as well. Very, very white. Yeah, look at that on my brow bone. Anyway, we're going to just leave that there. We're going to switch to a more pointy, like, pencil brush. Yeah, there. And we're just going to use that and put some of that white shadow in the inner corner. And hopefully it will show a little. I probably should have done this before I put the lashes on, because now I'm getting it on the lashes. But these lashes are trash anyway. I'm not going to reuse them. So let's just... oh my god, this lash in the inner corner. They're not even. They're not even. This is what I get for buying $5 lashes from the drugstore. Normally the ones I buy from Kiss at Priceline are like $15 to $22, and this is $5. And yeah, the cheap come out expensive. So we are having an expensive lesson with these cheap lashes. They don't last. God, this is very, very white. Let's try and blend that out a little bit. Very, very white. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right, now this is the final look. Now that that inner corner and brow highlighter is done, I'm actually really, really happy with it. Let me zoom you in. Don't focus on the lashes, guys. The lashes are terrible. But the actual shadow, I mean, this lash is just getting on my last nerve. I put so much glue on it and it's still not. Like, just stay there. Just stay there for like 2 minutes, 2 more minutes. And then also the photos at the end. Anyway, ignore this lash because it's just annoying me. But this is the final look. I'm really, really happy with it. Obviously, this is my favorite eye because I love greens and colorful eyeshadows. But the neutral side is really, really pretty as well. So I'm actually really happy with how all the shimmers and the mattes performed out of this palette. I think I did use, how many did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 shades out of 20. So that's more than 50%, which is really good. Now the white shade I only used as a brow highlighter and the inner corner highlighter. So if you take that away, I did use 50% of the shadows. I used 4 shimmers out of this palette. Now I haven't used this one here, which is the shade Solid. Let me swatch that for you so you can, oh, that is very, very soft as well. That's what it looks like on the finger. Just look at that. Look at all the shifts in that. And I'm just going to swatch at the back. Oh my god, that's like butter. Look at how pretty that is. Oh, look at all the shifts in that. Oh, I kind of wish I used that on my eye. That is so pretty. Okay, I'm definitely playing with that shadow next out of this palette. I'm really happy with the final look. Let me zoom you out so you can see my full face in all its glory, and probably not so close up to that lash that's falling off. Oh god, I moved my backdrop last night because my cat brought in a rat from the outside, or a native animal, one of the two. But it ran under the dresser behind me, and I had to like pull it out and everything. So it's probably not back to where it normally is. So if it's a little obscure in the background, that's why. God, this look is really pretty. I'm loving the shimmers out of this palette. This green eye it's stunning. Now guys, this is going to be another long video, so I do apologize. I'm going to list everything that I've used on my face, base wise, lip wise, lash wise, highlighter wise, all in the description down below like I always do. I will also link all my other Glaminatrix eyeshadow tutorials down below for you guys to go check them out if you're interested. And also, if you did like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I'm really, really happy with this tutorial. I hope you guys loved it. I know it's another long video, so I do apologize because I did do 2 different looks, but I hope it's still entertaining and I hope you enjoy it. So with that, I'm going to love and leave you, and I will see you in the next one. Oh my love. Bye.